All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll get started. Councillor Stakailo's online for today's meeting, and Deputy Mayor Lachlan is double booked today, and he's going to try and make it a little bit later on. Before we get started, and we'll jump right into why all of you are here for the biggest council meeting ever. We'll just do a quick land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities, including the national government of the Red River Métis, in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. We got a couple of not bookkeeping, but kind of agenda items. So moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that our agenda for today's meeting be amended by adding 3 items, 9E, 11A, and 11B. All in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. And moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly, that we approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Yay. And finally, we will approve the minutes of our regular council meeting from September 29th as they were circulated. All in favor of that? Thank you. All right, moving right into the reason all the smiling, look at these friendly people are here. The motion by Councillor Ray and seconded by Daly that we be resolved that the council presents the Sunshine Awards to the following 4 recipients, and that's Mr. Alan Gray, the Dauphin Clinic Pharmacy, Jean-Louis Guilles, and the Mamawi Park Planning Committee. So I will turn it over to Charlotte to get into the formalities.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So welcome everybody to the 2025 edition of the City of Dauphin Sunshine Awards. As the mayor said, it is a big council meeting. There are lots in the gallery tonight, so welcome. We are very pleased to have you here. The Sunshine Award program falls under the city's community recognition policy. Criteria for recognition is the completion of a project or initiative or a significant contribution that enriches the quality of life in our community. And definitely the 4 organizations or people that our mayor mentioned are very deserving of this award. Very brief introduction. I'm going to turn it over to the mayor, and he is going to provide the recipients with their awards. And there's a little bit of a speech outlining what those contributions were to the community. So we're going to start with the Dauphin Clinic Pharmacy.
So Councillor Ray was Councillor Ray was the one who brought the clinic pharmacy to our table for discussion as nomination, so I'll leave it up to Ted to speak to that.
Thank you, Mayor. Just before I get into my prepared little speech here, I just want to mention that I was involved with and still am involved with Parkland Vipers volleyball for the past 30 years. And every time I went to Miles, he always fully supported whatever I came to him with. I never heard the answer of no. And I know that the clinic has carried on that tradition because I still go to them when I need financial support for one thing or another. Not personal, of course, but I still haven't heard the word no. So Dauphin Clinic Pharmacy has always been there to help the community in many, many ways. For more than 45 years, the Dauphin Clinic Pharmacy has been a steady and caring presence in our community. Founded by the late Miles Haverluck, the pharmacy was built on his belief that caring for a community goes beyond medicine. It's about showing up, lending support, and being there when needed. This philosophy continues today with owners Sarah Watson, Kristen Haverluck, Carrie Hannison, and Barrett Procession, who carry forward a tradition of compassion and community care. Their lasting commitment makes the Dauphin Clinic Pharmacy a true pillar of Dauphin and a proud recipient of the 2025 Sunshine Award.
Farmers who want to come up, I don't know if Sean's on your picture or not, but well deserved and great partners in our community.
Kristen has a speech.
Well, thank you guys for,
Thank you guys for recognizing small businesses and individuals today. It's nice to be recognized, but do what we love, so thanks.
thank you. And that, I'll just speak, I'm gonna use my gym voice. I don't have the mic in front of me, but part of the whole deal with the Sunshine Awards was just to acknowledge people who don't look for acknowledgement to do good things to make our community what it is. And I believe since I became mayor, and since before then, but our community is only as good as the people in it and the people that are contributing. And again, you can look at city council, or you can look at a government department and expect them to do something, but it's all about us as a community. And so we just wanted to acknowledge those people that do it mostly for the good of the community and not for acknowledgement or for a plaque or recognition, but sometimes it's nice to get a little plaque or a little recognition. So that's what this is all about. The second one, and I'll read the formal piece that was prepared, and then add a couple comments because I know this individual very well. Alan Gray, projecting and promoting Dauphin's history. As the founder of Friends of Riverside, he has led a volunteer effort to restore dignity to more than 1,200 monuments at the cemetery so far, and ensuring that those laid to rest are remembered with care and honor. Al also has great passion for heritage, and that shines through the project, like putting a face on the name. You see some of the examples behind us, which connects photographs to the 163 names on Dauphin's War Memorial, as well as the Airport Memorial Project that he's involved in, which added a granite monument and plaque to commemorate Dauphin's role in the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. He also regularly hosts history nights, keeping our community stories alive and accessible. And some of the new street names of the old streets that are part of our downtown core and all part of our future vision to create a bit of a craft district and a historical respect in our communities because of guys like Al, who I knew him in grade 1. And I've known Shirley since grade 1, so I've known him forever, and he just really cares about our community. So Al, come on up. And I'm afraid though to say, would you like to say a few words?
Just an itch. No.
I'm not kidding about that.
Oh, good.
Got it? Something?
It
Got
won't,
something?
it won't.
I got
Oh, good. I'm glad.
You got it.
No, thank you. History is important, but I will say that the newest project is that one, the face of the name. And we hope after contacting the school board tomorrow, that the schools will take 8 or 10 of these into their Remembrance Day ceremonies as well, so they can actually see. And you'll notice that Private Cruz, Bob Cruz's son, he's one of 3 17-year-olds that was killed in the war. And so November the 6th at the Senior Center is the first history night, and it's all about World War II.
Thanks very much, Alan. Thanks. Yeah. The next recipient is also a friend of mine. I haven't known him as long as I've known Al, but Jean-Louis Guillet, so JL. JL has been a tireless volunteer and supporter of arts and culture in Dauphin, serving his second term as president of the Rotary Club. He also leads the biannual Rotary book sale, which makes more and more money every time there's a sale, so keep that going, JL, and plays a key role in organizing Dauphin's 21-day Culture Days Festival. JL is active with the Watson Arts Center, serves on the Northgate Trail Committee, and is a founding member of the Wormhole Micro Theater Company. A writer, playwright, and self-proclaimed cardboard expert, he is also the person most likely to quietly lend a hand whenever it's needed. And we're very proud to honor you with this award, JL. And I know every time I've called for your help, you're the first one up there, even on your bike sometimes. So come on up here. For your girlfriend. Okay.
Now this
Good.
Oh, okay, so
for his social media.
thanks, Christine, for letting him do everything he does. Behind every good guy, there's a good girl or partner. Behind every good company, there's all kinds of other people that are supporting you. So you have a word to say?
And big teams, like, you know, whether it's Rotary or Culture Days, Michelle Nyquist is my co-chair for that, and you know, all the stuff that, you know, it's fun being at the head of the team, but sometimes your mouth gets you to the one who gets on the radio and does the other thing. I'm very pleased to see that World Polio Day is on your agenda. Our Rotary Club has been very involved in that, so that's very close to us. We're going to be at the walking track on Friday, which is World Polio Day, bringing attention to that and the contribution that Rotary has made to that fight to eradicate polio. So thank you very much for having that on the agenda.
Thank you, and thank all of you. Finally, I'll turn this over to Councillor Bellemare, who was the one who brought the nomination for Molly. So, Kathy.
Okay, actually, I think someone else did because I probably would be too shy to bring this forward. But this committee, Mamawe Park Committee, we have beautiful notes here written by Ember, and I'm going to share some of that in just a moment. But this is the connections you make through life. So Stacy Penner, who's unable to be here, and Larry Budzinski started this whole initiative. Stacy thought we needed a free toboggan hill in town for the kids of this community because they need something active and they need something free because of the income level in our community. And Stacy and Larry were writing grants together for the Humane Society, and they thought, well, let's just keep going. So they wrote a grant. They were encouraged by the co-op, Dauphin Co-op, and we got $115,000 from them, and the rest is history, because once you get one group believing in you, the other groups just follow along. So I was fortunate to be asked by those two visionaries to join the team, because we'd worked together in education, and then we've got other partners. Lindsay is not able to be here. Lindsay is from DRS, and she's been our contact there. And also not able to join us today are our two reps from Scatliff, Miller, and Murray. So Anna is our landscape architect, and Alex Mann. I think a lot of people know Alex because he's the person who designed Northgate Trails, and we know how wonderful they are. And also as part of the Stacy's vision is that it's not just about the toboggan hill, it's about reconciliation and community. And it's been part of our mandate, and she's pushed this a lot with us, that yes, we have partners, you know, that we have Treaty 2 and we have MMF and we have Manitoba Métis Federation, and the Friendship Center are also on board. Jerry Thompson is our rep from the Friendship Center, and she's not able to be here. We have Carol Shankrook, who is our MVSD person, because of course there's an education component and that's part of her job, and Wade Houle is also part of our group. So diverse and bringing all kinds of ideas, and If you haven't been by the Toboggan Hill recently, please drive by. There's been a lot of recent activity and it's just awesome. So, and when the snow comes and just adds to the effect, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful place. It already is, and it's just getting better and better. So, the Mumaway Park Planning Committee embodies what can be achieved when vision, collaboration, and community spirit come together. What began as an idea for a toboggan hill has grown into a community-driven project creating a year-round park that offers recreation for all ages while also making space for cultural connection and understanding. With the main features now in place and future plans to highlight Indigenous history and reconciliation through learning opportunities, Mumaway Park is becoming a place where Dauphin can truly come together. For their dedication and vision, the committee is recognized with the 2025 City of Dauphin Sunshine Award.
Come on up and Kathy will present you with the award and Sean will take a picture. And then if you want to stay for the rest of the council meeting, please consider it. But grab a dainty on the way out because I don't know if you want it to hang for the whole thing. Yeah.
No, it's up to tell people I'm on this as a private citizen, I'm not in this as a council.
Do we want the plaque?
Yeah, you might want to pick up the award.
Why they have the tail on?
Thank you. You want to get it, everybody? Can everybody before you go? Sorry, because Bert's got to go to hockey. Yeah, yeah, almost escaped.
Oh, yeah, that's like what? Council.
Yeah, council in there too.
I can't
You gonna be able to get Devin in there? No.
Yeah.
Come on, Randy, hurry up.
You a counselor?
Protection.
Fair enough.
Supposed to be in these.
Never.
Find an angle where I can get Ted back there. Okay.
Cool.
No, really stay. Oh, just grab that cookie here on the way out.
While the mayor is just getting his paperwork put together, we wanted to acknowledge that we have two students from the Dauphin Regional Secondary School, the high school, Danica Chartrand and Jake Carrier. They're kind of checking out what this student council member representative could or should or might be. And we might see one or both of them participating in council meetings this coming year. So welcome.
All right, I go back together and we'll move on to the next item. But before we do that, we just vote for all members of council in regards to the resolution about the Sunshine Awards. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? And that's another piece of the paperwork that gets done. We'll move right into the next item, consent agenda. We've got a couple of things on the consent agenda in terms of action items. We've got one account receivable to be added, and that's roll 00-11100 in the amount of $860.81, and that's the cost of cold water meter and cost to replace garbage bins at that property. We've got a number of proclamations today, and we'll try and read them as quickly as we can, but rather than going in order on the agenda, we'll just go based on council members who have them, and I'll turn to Councillor Sobring for his proclamations to start.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First proclamation I'd like to read is World Polio Day. Whereas Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change in communities across the globe. And whereas in 1985, Rotary launched Polio Plus, and in 1988 helped to establish the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to immunize the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by 99.9% since 1988, and the world stands on the threshold of eradicating the disease, thanks in large part to Rotary's contribution of more than 1.9 billion and countless volunteer hours to protect more than 2.5 billion children in 122 countries. Whereas on August 25th, 2020, the WHO declared the African region to be free of wild polio virus, an incredible achievement worth celebrating after a decades-long commitment by Rotarians, their partners, and millions of healthcare workers and supporters. And whereas Rotary is working to raise an additional $50 million per year, which would be leveraged for maximum impact by an additional $100 million annually from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And whereas these efforts are providing much needed operational support, medical staff, laboratory equipment, and educational materials in the fight for a polio-free world. So we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, proclaim October 24th, 2025 as World Polio Day. And then I'd like to move on to another proclamation, Radon Action Month. Whereas radon is an odorless, colorless, tasteless, invisible radioactive gas that comes from the soil and enters homes and buildings as a carcinogen that causes more than 3,200 deaths per year in Canada, and whereas non-smokers who have high levels of radon in their homes over their lifetime have a 1 in 20 chance of developing lung cancer, and for smokers this risk is 1 in 3. About 43% of Manitobans may be living in homes with radon levels higher than Health Canada's guideline of 200 becquerels per cubic meter. And whereas the result from the 2023-24 Take Action on Radon Free Test Kit Challenge indicated that 92% of the homes tested in Dauphin had radon levels exceeding Health Canada's guideline, which highlights the urgent need to address radon levels in the homes and buildings in our community. And whereas the science is very clear in supporting the need to take proactive steps at all levels of government to protect our residents from this radioactive gas that is prevalent in many communities in Manitoba. And whereas throughout the month of November, the City of Dauphin will be rolling out initiatives that provide guidance and resources for residents to test for and mitigate radon, including 100 free radon test kit giveaways. And whereas the City of Dauphin encourages all residents to test, assess, and mitigate to protect themselves and their families from the serious health effects related to radon exposure. We, the Council, the City of Dauphin, proclaim November 2025 as Radon Action Month.
Thank you, Councillor Sobring. Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, another proclamation about cancer, this one about lung cancer. Whereas lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death among men and women in Canada, accounting for more deaths than colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer combined. And whereas more than 20,000 Canadians are expected to die of lung and bronchus cancer this year, representing nearly 1/4 of all cancer deaths in Canada. And whereas, according to the research by Canadian oncologists, lung cancer is expected to be the most commonly diagnosed cancer in Canada, with more than 32,000 new cases in this year. And whereas funding for lung cancer research falls far behind funding for research of many other cancers, and additional research is needed in early diagnosis, screening, and treatment for lung cancer, as well as in lung cancer affecting women and lung cancer disparities, health disparities. And whereas organizations working in Canada, such as the Canadian Lung Association Cancer Screening Initiative, are committed to educating about lung cancer and lung cancer screening and are working to increase lung cancer screening rates. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 2025 as Lung Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas medical radiation technologists are an essential link between patients and the sophisticated medical imaging and radiotherapy technologies in Manitoba's healthcare system, and whereas the City of Dauphin recognizes the vital contributions of medical radiation technologists to safe and appropriate healthcare in this province, and whereas other healthcare providers depend on the specialized skills and expertise of medical radiation technologists to ensure patients receive timely diagnosis and treatments. And whereas Medical Radiation Technologist Week is an opportunity to recognize and acknowledge the expertise and the dedication of medical radiation technologists, as well as to encourage others to enter this vital profession. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 2nd to 8th, 2025 as Medical Radiation Technologist Week.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. And Councillor Daly?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas domestic violence is prevalent across all ethnic, racial, age, social, and economic groups and occurs regardless of marital status or sexual orientation. And whereas the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter opened its doors in Dauphin on October 31st, 1992, to provide alternatives to violent living for women and their children fleeing domestic, family, and/or gender-based violence. And whereas through the provision of emergency shelter, counseling, education, and advocacy, the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter strives to empower abuse survivors to make positive life changes. And whereas in 2024-2025, the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter provided 1,474 safe emergency residential shelter bed nights and services to women and their children experiencing domestic, family, and/or gender-based violence, and received approximately 1,349 crisis line calls. And whereas the City of Dauphin commends the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter and other public and private entities that strive to end the cycle of violence in homes and communities across the Parkland. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Thank you, Councillor Daly, and thank you, councillors, for those reading those proclamations. Got a couple of other items under the consent agenda, some filing items. The Parkland Chamber of Commerce, their Chamber Insider for October, and the Chamber Matters for October. From Municipal and Northern Relations, the statutory review of the planning legislation. From Prairie Mountain Health, their Health Plus newsletter for October. And from Mountain View School Division, the News Digest for October the 14th. We also received some correspondence from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities regarding the Member Advisory Office of the Auditor General, and that's an investigative report summary. And from Rural Manitoba Economic Development Corp, the Community Growth Assessment for Dauphin. And finally, Manitoba News release from provincial government, from Transportation and Infrastructure, regarding the Wildfire Disaster Financial Assistance Program that supports any of the impacted communities. Be it resolved then, moved by Councillor Sobring and seconded by Councillor Daly, that all items listed in red under item 5C, the consent agenda, be approved. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Just to expedite the meeting, we've got a pretty heavy agenda today. I'm going to just ask that unless there aren't any specific questions for members of council, we'll accept all of the three reports that are coming up next. So the first, moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that we accept as information the corporate report from the city manager for September. Any members of council have questions of anything that's in Charlotte's report? Other than I'll call for the question, then all in favor? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that we accept the corporate report from the deputy city manager for the month of September. Does anyone have any questions of Lisa, of anything that's included in her monthly report? No? All in favor then? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. And then we're just going to do one more and then we'll move back. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be resolved that we accept the information in the engineering report for today's meeting from the Director of Public Works and Operations. Any questions of Bernardo, anything that's in his report? Councillor Bellemare, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for the pictures because that really helps visualize what's going on. So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, Councillor.
Anyone else? Questions or comments for Bernardo's report? Councillor Sobering?
No, I just, I know there's a lot going on and we can see it all around us. So just keep it up. It's looking good.
Thank you.
Okay, call for the question then. All in favor? Any opposed? Devin, I just want to make sure I looked at your big head up on the wall there. There aren't any questions, so thanks. Yeah, I'm always going sideways. Next item, moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that finance accounts having been examined by council be hereby authorized and approved. We had 78 checks in the recent run, totaling $774,900.45. There were no voided checks in the past range or in the current range, and we had 4 electronic fund payments and 6 other electronic payments in the month of September. The EFTs totaled $40,706.07. And the 6 other payments totaled $210,708.35. And just for council's information, it's been a bit of a challenge with the postal strike and the whole notion of getting payment out to certain vendors and others and other things. So I want to appreciate the work by council. And Charlotte, if you want to just mention something related to that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as we would expect, vendors are expecting their payments. And so we have been doing a few electronic fund transfers when possible, or purelating checks to places outside of town, or hand delivering in town. And our water bills have just gone out or just going out. And when I say going out, they're printed, they're in envelopes. We'd really appreciate people to come pick them up if they haven't already signed up for an email update, and or they can call into City Hall to see how they can get their invoices for their next quarterly water bill. Thank you.
Call for the question, and all those in favor of the finance report? Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that we accept the information in the engineering staff report from the building inspector for September. Any questions regarding the building inspector's report? Call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. And moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Stakilo, that we accept the bylaw enforcement officer's report for the month of September. Any questions regarding that report that we've received? No? All in favor? Opposed? And moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray, that we accept the protective services report from the animal services officer for September. Questions or comments regarding that report? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the Ready to Move childcare project is funded under the Canada-Manitoba Canada-wide Early Learning and Childcare Agreement and is a key element of Manitoba's commitment to creating 23,000 new childcare spaces by 2026, be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated October the 8th from the Honourable Tracy Schmidt, Minister of Education and Early Childhood Learning, advising that the City of Dauphin has been approved for an additional capital funding of up to $1.06 million for the city's 104-space childcare center at the corner of 6th Avenue Southeast and 3rd Street Southeast, which increases the total capital grant for the facility from $5.5 million to $6.56 million to support the additional costs and ensure completion of the project. Any questions or comments regarding this announcement? Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, first a comment, yay. Secondly, a question. So we've kind of been stalled out here. So what happens now and how does this announcement affect the timing?
Certainly. So the original timing should have had the daycare finished in March of 25. So it's been a long haul in trying to get the right design and then appropriate funding for it. We did put in the funding request in end of May, beginning of June, and finally got word on it. So right now we're doing two things at the same time. One is working with the province regarding an amendment to our funding agreement. And two, we are mobilizing with the architect again. We've confirmed that the architect is still on board. So we're very excited about that. So we have a meeting scheduled with him next week. As you can appreciate, with a pause in any word for at least 3 months, he had other things scheduled. So he's able to meet with us next week and get going on that again. I would doubt that we're going to see any significant movement on site this fall. I'll still say fall. Maybe some tree removal, maybe some topsoil, something that we could do if there's anything that we can do. But we anticipate that it will be tendered and awarded this winter, and construction will start as soon as possible in the spring. I think we're told that that it does need to be completed, substantially completed by March 31st, 2027, I think it is. So one more year and a half before it has to be done. Obviously, we'd want it to be done as soon as possible, but realistic March of 27.
And just to add to that, and not to throw any other jurisdiction under the bus, just wanted to, for public disclosure, say that it wasn't due to any delay by the city in trying to move this project forward. So there was other variables that were outside of our control that we've been able to negotiate through. And finally, I want to acknowledge the provincial government stepping up and saying that, the original amount tendered was actually not appropriate to fund the building that was designed. And so I can, acknowledge the province for finally recognizing that and getting it to Treasury Board and making this announcement for us. Okay, all in favor then? Yep, we've had that, and we'll move on. Next item, moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray, whereas the City Caucus of the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, representing all 10 cities across the province, has submitted correspondence dated October the 14th to the Minister of Health, Seniors and Long-Term Care and the Minister of Advanced Education and Training, expressing strong support for the establishment of a 4-year medical campus at Brandon University in partnership with the University of Manitoba's Max Rady College of Medicine. And whereas the correspondence outlines the urgent need to address physician shortages in rural and northern Manitoba through expanded medical education and training capacity outside of Winnipeg, and recommends a collaborative approach involving key provincial and academic partners. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the correspondence from AMM Cities Caucus proposing a medical campus at Brandon University, and acknowledges the importance of this initiative in strengthening healthcare access and physician workforce sustainability across the province. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobring. Whereas the city co-sponsored the AMM Resolution 04219, which called on the province to establish a predictable long-term system of indexing the annual municipal assistance grant at a rate equal to or greater than the annual rate of economic growth. And whereas the AMM Board of Directors at its meeting on October the 2nd resolved to remove Resolution 04-2019 from its list of active resolution in light of the province's commitment to a 2% annual increase to the municipal operating basket for the next 4 years, and the creation of the $62 million One Manitoba Growth Revenue Fund to provide additional funding over the next 5 years. And whereas the AMM continues to advocate for comprehensive and collaborative funding framework through Resolution 01-2023, which seeks to establish stable revenue tools and long-term certainty for municipalities at both the provincial and federal levels, be it resolved that Council accepts as information the correspondence dated October 15th from the AMM regarding the removal of the resolution from its active list and acknowledges the province's recent funding commitments. Questions or comments regarding this? Again, a whole bunch of technical wording. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas the city has collaborated with the Dauphin Rail Museum to develop a pilot project aimed at providing increased comfort to Via Rail passengers during the winter months. And whereas the pilot project will ensure the Rail Museum is open at least 30 minutes prior to the train's arrival and remains open until the train departs on scheduled service days, offering passengers a warm, safe, and accessible space for washroom facilities. And whereas the pilot project is scheduled to run from November the 1st of this year to April the 30th and includes provisions for honorarium payments, operational support, and data collection, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a Via Rail Passenger Winter Comfort Pilot Project Agreement between the City and the Rail Museum, which outlines the terms of the project, and a memo dated October 20th from the Project and Development Manager recommending approval of the agreement. Further be resolved that Council approves this pilot project and authorizes the agreement to be signed and sealed by the Mayor and City Manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Questions or comments regarding this project? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. I think that's an innovative way to try and deal with some of the issues that have come to our attention over the last couple of years, especially in the colder months. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas many Manitoba municipalities rely on the Manitoba Water Services Board for financial support, technical expertise, and project coordination related to water and wastewater infrastructure. And whereas current funding levels and resource capacity at the Manitoba Water Services Board may limit its ability to meet growing municipal needs, which could affect timely advancement of infrastructure projects that support community development, public health, climate resilience, and economic growth, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Dauphin supports an increase to the Manitoba Water Services Board annual capital budget to $100 million beginning in 2026 to better align with the scale and urgency of municipal infrastructure requirements across the province. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? Just asking the province politely what to do. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. We know of significant infrastructure projects, particularly in southern and southeastern Manitoba, that are far exceeding the Water Services Board ability to meet. So I think our support for that resolution is timely. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas asbestos is a naturally occurring mineral composed of microscopic fibers that was commonly used in building materials for insulation and fireproofing, and which, when disturbed, can pose serious health risks due to airborne fiber inhalation, and whereby the city is required under the Workplace Safety and Health Act to have an asbestos management policy in place to assess city buildings, be it resolved that Council accepts as information the Asbestos Management Plan Policy 1.4, which ensures the city meets its legal obligations and protects the health and safety of employees, contractors, public, and a memo dated October 17th from the Deputy City Manager recommending that the policy be approved. Further be resolved that Council agrees with the Deputy City Manager's recommendation and approves Asbestos Management Policy 14.1 or 1.4 as presented, which would be effective as of today's date. Any questions or comments regarding this?
I understand why we need a policy. Do we have any asbestos sort of on the horizon that isn't well contained and may need to be removed in the future?
Thank you for the question. As part of working with Workplace Safety Manitoba, our safety manager performed inspections of all city-owned facilities, including those under Dauphin Rec Services, library, Watson Art Center, things like that. and has inventoried possible asbestos containing material in certain things like old drywall, if it was put in before a certain date, ceiling tiles, wraps on pipes, things like that. And he has educated the people who work in the buildings, or at least notified the people who work in the buildings that there are potentially asbestos containing materials or building materials. He's working on getting training for them, like third party training. And part of that training is if it's potentially possible that something contains asbestos, it needs to be tested first. And if it does contain asbestos, then there's a procedure on how to work with it. And if it's not, then it's not. So short answer, yes, there are some facilities that probably have asbestos in them. As long as it's not disturbed, the health risk is very low to our workers. But if it does need to be disturbed, then we are taking precautions and proper measures on how to do that.
Anyone else? Call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that Council accepts the information correspondence dated September the 24th from Candace Mraz, the Administrative Assistant for the Intermountain Watershed District, regarding the city's appointment to the Vermilion River Subdistrict. And further be resolved that Council appoints myself and Jerry Miller as the city's representatives for the next year on that board. Questions or comments? Does anyone else want to do that? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, whatever. Moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas the Dauphin Community Cinema is a nonprofit organization operating the Country Fest Community Cinema and has served the region since 2011, providing a hub for arts, entertainment, and community connections in Dauphin. And whereas the City of Dauphin recognizes the value of the Country Fest Community Cinema as a community asset and wishes to support its continued operation through a structured sponsorship arrangement, be it resolved that Council accepts information correspondence dated September 24th from the Cinema Board of Directors and a memo dated October 17th from the Economic Development Manager, noting that the board is requesting financial relief sponsorship from the city to assist with the immediate operational costs and to support continued service to the community, and is recommending a 5-year sponsorship agreement between Tourism Dauphin and the Country Fest Community Cinema valued at $25,500 plus taxes as follows, to be paid in advance, which would be, and the couple of items indicated would be continuing on-screen advertising with rotating place brand and tourism videos, which would be valued at $18,000 over the terms of the agreement, and outside advertising either on the east wall or window decals at the theater valued at $7,500, and that any content would be at the city's expense. Further be resolved that Council agrees with the Economic Development Manager's recommendation and approves the 5-year sponsorship agreement with the Country Fest Community Cinema, Inc. in the amount of $25,500 plus taxes to be funded from the Economic Development and Tourism Reserve. Further be resolved that Council authorizes a sponsorship agreement with the DCC to be signed and sealed by myself and the City Manager on behalf of the city. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? Councillor Sobering?
Nothing specific. I think I might have to recuse from this one just as a vote because of my role on the Fusion Credit Union Board. No? Direct financial benefit?
If I could ask relationship between Fusion and the cinema regarding this particular sponsorship agreement?
I believe Fusion holds the mortgage, so that would
Okay.
be a benefit from the city to the cinema. That would probably benefit Fusion. No, it's not a big issue. I'm just obviously I love the theater. I support it personally. I'm going to recuse from the vote on this one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyone else comment? Nope. All in favor of the resolution? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Move on. You guys can stay or go or eat cookies if you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you absolutely are welcome. We would love you to stay because we've had big crowds before, but never anyone at the end. So, but again, thanks for coming, folks. Next item, motion by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following invitations from the Dauphin Fire Department regarding the firefighters' ball on November the 1st, from the Royal Canadian Legion regarding their Remembrance Day service of November the 11th, and from Prairie Mountain Health regarding their annual general meeting, which is October the 22nd. Further resolved that all expenses related to council and senior managers attending any of the events be borne by the city. Questions or comments regarding any of this?
Is anybody going or on the Prairie Mountain Health AGM? That's virtual?
Correct, it's virtual.
Anybody
over the
sitting in on
lunch.
that?
We usually do.
Do you? Good. Because they need to know we're still, after our meeting, still engaged.
Certainly.
Sorry, the link for that is online because it wasn't circulated. So is it on their website?
We'll make sure that you guys all get a link.
Okay.
And just in regards to the firefighters' ball, I have already bought tickets for myself, but I may or may not be available because that's right before my big hip thing. So is anybody available to go? I don't know, did they offer tickets for us to buy or are holding tickets for us? 'Cause I know they're sold out now.
Yeah, I heard they're sold out as well.
Okay.
I think if there's interest, I know a guy.
Okay, yeah, and if I'm a betting guy, which I'm, yeah, you could say I am, not a good bettor, but I would probably be able to give my 2 tickets to somebody who can go because I'm probably not thinking I'm going to be in town that weekend, just because. And then obviously Remembrance Day service, I've already talked to the deputy mayor. He may not be available on the 11th because of another conflict. So we will have to find someone to represent the city to lay the wreath at the cenotaph, because that's immediately post my surgery and I won't be able to be out to do that. So we'll talk about that later. Yep. Okay. All in favor then? Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Motion by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be resolved that we accept the information the following community event, and that's the Riding Mountain National Park Park Management Planning, which is also on October the 22nd, which is also virtual.
This one is at the.
That one's at the
It's
library?
at the library. Yeah.
There's a virtual
Trails.
thing. That's a trails thing. Okay. Okay, so I'm not in town on the 22nd. Is anybody going to this? Charlo is?
More time.
And more time? Okay, excellent. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. All right, hey, to Sean's favorite part of the meeting. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. The council reports for today's meeting, and you look so lonely over there, Councillor Sobring. I'm going to start with Councillor Daly. I got you again. All right, Councillor Daly.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Mine will be quick. September 29th, attended the last regular council meeting. The week of October 6th to the 10th, I dealt with various private citizen concerns and discussions. That's what happens when you're out and about. All were actually resolved with explanations and discussion. They involved things like property standards, policing general. On this occasion, the policing general was a positive comment, and they were just interested in what has changed. And then, of course, the standard homelessness and addiction concerns and what we may be doing as city council. So again, just providing factual information to people, and they were satisfied with that. So other than that, I had no meetings, no committees, and that's it for my report. Thank you.
Councillor Ray.
All right, I'm going to make up for Randy's shortcoming. September 29th, I attended our last regular council meeting. October 8th, in the morning, I had a DART meeting at DFC. And at noon, I attended the Property Standards Committee meeting. I just wanted to take the time to really commend the job that our team of Dave McInnes, Lisa Gadet, and Janelle Thompson are doing. Notices are being sent out, properties are getting cleaned up, and our properties in the city are being held to a high standard, which is great to see. Also, in the evening of October 8th, my wife and I attended the Culture Days presentation at Northgate. There was close to 100 people out to watch 6 presentations dealing with climate change, and Martine put on a great performance as a polar bear. October 15th, we had a community safety and well-being project team meeting here at City Hall. On the 16th, we had a rec committee meeting at the Cup. On the 17th, I attended the band committee meeting here at City Hall. And on Saturday, my wife and I went to the Diwali celebration held at the WAC, where we enjoyed watching a number of ceremonial dancers, singers, and were treated to some fantastic food, and it wasn't too hot. But that completes my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Bellemare.
Yeah, I always thought the reading of the proclamations was our reporter's favorite part of the meeting, but okay. Council work, Riverside Cemetery meeting on the 15th and Community Safety and Wellbeing meeting the same day. And on Saturday, I attended the Dauphin and District Handyvan Tea. I love teas. So they were celebrating their 40th anniversary of providing this hugely important service to our community. So congrats to all past and present board members and drivers. And for community events, if you enjoy being frightened, there's a scary reminder that Dauphin Apocalypse is happening this weekend at the Watson. Some tickets are still available, and that will get you in the mood for Halloween. And also a community vaccine clinic is going to be held on the 29th, and our local pharmacies are also offering this service. And I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Terry Gennick for his 40 years of skillful and dedicated service to the community. And we wish him all the best in his retirement, and he does, of course, leave big work boots to fill. And a big thank you to the City of Dauphin for completing the necessary drainage work at the base of the Toboggan Hill in Mamawee Park. Your in-kind support of this project is greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Stakilo, since you're next.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, dating back to September 15th, regular council meeting, then on the 22nd, the planning and priority meeting. October 8th, I was in attendance for the property standards meeting, and I echo what Councillor Ray says about the work being done. As we know, the group is our staff is progressing with a lot of action with as a result of the work being done. So it's greatly appreciated, and it only enhances our city going forward. On October 10th, I sat in on an airport meeting just in regard to passenger service. And then on October 16th, I was at the rec board meeting that Councillor Ray was also in attendance for. And that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you. And Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I didn't attend a pile of meetings since we last met. Of course, I was at the PMP and the regular council meetings. I did attend a Dauphin and District Handyvan meeting, and I was also at the Come and Go Tea at the Legion for the Dauphin District Handyvan's 40th anniversary. And congrats to the organizers, Rodney Juba, other board members, Anne Wagner, who's our manager. They did a great job, and also our esteemed mayor for bringing greetings on behalf of the city, and Ron Kostishin, and of course Ken Chuchuk on behalf of the RM. It is an important service, and it has been in business for 40 years. It seems like a very long time, especially when you see new entities like the community cinema in its 9th year. And you just hope that every organization that starts will have a long and lengthy, prosperous, because it is an important, these are important things for our community, and it's really great to be able to celebrate them. I did attend a Ducks Unlimited dinner here in Dauphin. It was been away for, I think, before the pandemic, so that was nice to see it come back. I did go to a small trip to Chicago. My wife ran in a marathon, so I missed all the Thanksgiving and a couple meetings. I don't know if I would say missed them, but I was not in attendance at them. and it was well done. But when I did get back, I know that I think there was a number of furnaces that weren't working, so we know that the cold is upon us. So if you haven't yet, check your furnaces, make sure that the filters are changed, do a basic service. Winter is coming, and you don't want to be left out in the cold. And I know there's a lot of work being done, and it's very hard to get somebody to show up because I think everybody's going through it. So if you haven't done it yet, maybe call your service person and take a look at it. And other than that, that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sobring. I won't say too much other than since our last meeting, the Rural Municipality has held their official meeting and they have unanimously supported the new rec agreement that they proposed to us. And so I just wanted to publicly acknowledge the RM for getting back on board and look forward to the next couple years of DRS managing and operating the facilities with sustained funding from both municipalities. So I just wanted to again acknowledge the RM for that good work. And with that, we'll call for the question. All in favor of accepting the council reports for today's meeting? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. And moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray, that the meeting be recessed at 6 p.m. All in favor?